Welcome everyone to this edition of Insights. Today we're at the Combat Readiness Training Center right here in Alpena, where a group of cadets are learning all about the encampment experience here on base.
The views expressed on this program do not necessarily reflect those of this station.
Welcome to Insights into Northeast Michigan, a WBKB News public affairs program. Insights deals with the issues affecting those in the community, as well as Northeast Michigan and the state. And now, Insights into Northeast Michigan.
Welcome to Insights, everybody. I'm your host, Felina Jones, and today we're at the Combat Readiness Center in Alpena, and Colonel Burke is joining me now to talk about the cadet program. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having us.
So I just want to start off right off the bat. This is a volunteer program. Can you tell me a little bit about it?
The Civil Air Patrol is the auxiliary of the United States Air Force. We've been in existence since December 1st, 1941. So for over 75 years, 73 years, we've been providing missions for America and supporting America. Early on, we were protecting the borders in World War II. We still continue that mission today. We're most famous probably for our search and rescue missions. We accomplish about 95% of the inland search and rescue missions in the United States. We have a focus on aerospace education where we do internal training as well as external training. And with the idea that we're teaching tomorrow's leaders, both cadets, young people and adults, about the importance of aerospace and of technology. We have our third and what I think is our most important mission is our cadet mission. Our program is open for young adults between 12 and 20 years old, and we have a multi-level program where they start off as a basic cadet, just being introduced to the program, and they advance and become educated and more well-trained. And as they progress through those ranks, they learn more leadership skills, they take on more responsibility. The program itself, the cadet program especially, focuses on the whole cadet. So they're learning leadership skills. We have a character development portion of the education that they go through, where we talk about ethical questions, what's right, what's wrong. We teach them leadership skills. In the early phases, they might learn how to just be a follower, so they're marched around in a square. The next step is we teach them to lead at that level. So how do you communicate to a group of people to move in a square? And then, as you'll see with some of the cadets you're going to talk to today, with Chief Wolf and with Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Graham, as they advance that training, they become more proficient, they gain more responsibility. Both of them are at different portions of the program. Colonel Graham has almost finished the program, and Chief Wolf is about halfway through the program. Colonel Graham is one of our excellent examples of a cadet who's really performed well. She's 18 years old. She's in charge of an encampment today where she has over 170 cadets that are reporting to her. For the last year, she's prepared her staff. They've held training activities on the weekends to get them ready to do this. Now the cadets like Chief Wolf are up here to learn everything that's important about Civil Air Patrol. It's essentially their basic training program. Based on their performance here, they're able to come back for other activities that we do that again are higher levels of training, higher levels of education. Our cadet leadership school hones those leadership skills even more. And these programs are happening all across the United States. We have about 26,000 cadets and about 35,000 senior members across the United States. In Michigan, we have 48 units that are all scattered throughout the state, upper and lower peninsula, east side, west side, sunrise and sunset, and the sun never really sets on us till late afternoon. And our cadets are doing the same kind of activities that they are throughout the country. They're really developing leadership skills. They're really going to be the outstanding citizens that we have in this country going forward.
And going off of that, why is the cadet program so essential to really character building?
It gives them an opportunity to learn the life skills that most of us have to wait until we're adults to get. So they get to lead people, As much as it pains me to say, not all of our cadets come in as perfect young adults, but we do our best to try and improve them and help give them the skills that they can really use in their life to succeed. They may go into the military, they may go into the military as enlisted people, they may go to college or a military academy and become officers in the military. About half of our cadets go that route. The other half go into business, public service, work for the government, work in politics. We've had former cadets just about everywhere that you can imagine, including a recent commander of the space shuttle was a former cadet.
Oh, wow.
So it gives them a great core of experiences to build on. We have a wide diversity of cadets as well. Male, female, inner city, rural. We have cadets that are from rural areas, rural squadrons, and they're all getting those same skill sets that everyone else gets. They all come here and they're all wearing camouflage or they're all wearing blue. Nobody knows what your house looks like or how much money your parents make.
Right. And you yourself started out as a cadet, correct?
I did start out as a cadet. As a matter of fact, in 1980, I was here in Alpena for my first encampment. The place looked a little different then, but we're still going along. I was a cadet for 5 years and attended 5 encampments here. I actually met my wife here, who's also a former cadet, and we've been here many times. So it's a great place. It's a great location. We're able to do all kinds of training. The folks here in Alpena at the CRTC have been incredible to us for the last 40 years that we've been coming here. And the base is, they call it the Gem of the North for a reason. It's up here, it can house people, it can feed people, so they do a real great job with us.
Okay, and you were also saying a little bit earlier that search and rescue is really a big part of your guys' program.
Yep, search and rescue is a huge portion of what we do. We train the same way that FEMA trains and the same way that all federal agencies train, with incident commanders all the way down to our mission pilots. We have actually more people who work in ground search and rescue than we have pilots and air crews that are flying in our airplanes. And the cadets are, as part of their maturity, as part of their training, are also able to participate in some of those skills. They actually learn how to do search and rescue. We take them out in the woods. We teach them woodsmanship skills. We teach them first aid skills. We have an academy that we hold a little bit west of here in Lucerne or in Grayling, depending on the year. And it's an academy that's just dedicated to search and rescue. So we bring all of our ground people in and they learn the basic skills. And then again, everyone's advancing in training. So by the time they get to 2 or 3 years, they're doing advanced search and rescue or advanced medic skills.
And on those search and rescue missions, you guys are actually saving money in terms of if other departments of the military would have done that, it would have cost more.
Yep. The Civil Air Patrol is a huge, we like to say that we prove our value through our savings to the country. And for instance, at Deepwater Horizon a few years ago, while we heard about the billions of dollars that BP put into it and all the millions that FEMA put into it, the Civil Air Patrol was able to staff the mission for about 108 days. We flew 2,500 hours of flight time. We took about 300,000 photos. And when we were all done, we asked the Coast Guard what they would have charged to do the same mission. What CAP flew for just about $350,000, the Coast Guard would have spent a little over $26.5 million to fly. So our volunteer force, every one of us is a volunteer. Every person that's on this base today paid to be here. I actually paid to come and visit the activity. Unlike many other youth groups where you pay to go to camp and the counselors are paid, our people are all volunteers from the basic cadet to the oldest senior member that we have. While our cadets are limited from 12 to 20-year-old, our senior program is open to anyone from 18 to infinity, and we have the whole breadth, so it's quite quite a family activity.
Okay, great. Well, it sounds like you guys are doing great work here, and I want to thank you for joining me today on the program.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, when we come back from the break, we'll talk to Cadet Commander Graham, who has been in the program for several years and is here this week training basic cadets. Welcome back, everybody. And now Chelsea Graham joins me, who is a cadet commander. Chelsea, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you, ma'am.
So you've been in the program for 6 years now. How'd you get involved?
Actually, my dad did it when he was a kid. He was a teenager back in the 80s, and then I heard about it, him doing search and rescue, finding downed planes or missing people, and I just really want to get into that, mostly to prepare myself for military service after, I graduate high school and everything.
Okay, and as a cadet commander, what are your responsibilities?
Here, I basically just make sure my staff's running smoothly. Most of my job was preparation for this event. Training the staff, making sure that they have all the tools they need to successfully lead these basics and train them in what they need to know. So right now, I just kind of fix glitches as they go. Now that we're in the middle of the activity, I help counsel people, both staff and our basic cadets, as well as just kind of deal with any logistical issues that happen. And just basically make sure my people are taken well care of.
Okay, and training the basic cadets, what goes into that?
Well, we have a curriculum that we follow for the encampment, so we just basically have to find instructors. We get a lot of military personnel that will come out and teach classes on Air Force careers, on there's aerospace education, there's drug domain reduction. There's just so many different classes that they learn here and get involved in here, just so that they have a wide knowledge of what the Civil Air Patrol Cadets program is about. And we also do physical activities. We do PT of physical training every morning at 5:30. We get them up and get them out of bed and get them running around the block. And we also do drill, which is like marching around. And yeah, just a lot of different cool activities.
So you said they get up every day at 5:30. What does the day progress for them?
Basically, they do PT for about 45 minutes, and then they go back, and what they do is they keep their dorm rooms, which we call barracks. They basically keep them so that every item is in an exact spot, folded in an exact way. And then their bunks done in an exact way with hospital corners and everything. And so they go back. They have about a half an hour to change into their next uniform for the day, usually a BDU's or our dress blues uniform, out of their PT uniform. And then they have to get everything ready for their inspections of their barracks and put everything in the back right spot and get everything prepared, make their bed and everything. And then after that, we had the chow. We have breakfast at 7 o'clock. And then after chow, then we continue with our classes, go to lunch, more classes in the afternoon, usually a fun activity. So we've done, yesterday we went out with firefighters from the Air Force and got to look at their fire trucks. So fun activities like that, flying like we're doing right now, just different stuff. And then we have dinner, and then after dinner, we'll go back, we'll change back into our physical training uniform. In the evening, we do special activities. One's called mail call, where basically they can write letters to each other throughout the activity, and we'll just pass all that mail out from one basic to another basic, or to staff or whatever. And then we'll announce our honor flight of the day, and then do fun activities, and then we'll continue with evening PT, which is more team sports, competitive sports, with a volleyball tournament that we do. And then after that, they'll go back and they'll shower and get to bed.
Oh, great. It sounds like a lot of education and a lot of team building exercises. So what would you say students, after this week-long adventure, really take away from it?
Well, there's attention to detail with all the inspections that they do. And then there's learning to work together, because a lot of them, they come here, they're 12, 13, 14 years old. They've never really worked in a big group in the program before, and this will be their first activity, in a big group of other cadets. And so they'll learn just to come and be a team, be a part of the group, and that's really important for other activities such as our emergency services that maybe a lot of them will later get into, because now they can work as a ground team, because teamwork is just absolutely vital for all of our operations. And then they learn really good things about their health, because they'll learn that maybe staying up till 1 in the morning every night and watching TV isn't the best thing for them. Right. And proper meals, we teach them nutrition, we teach them how to hydrate properly, make sure they're drinking. So a lot of really important life skills I learned here.
Okay, fantastic. And where can cadets go from here?
After this, it actually opens up a wide range of opportunities within Civil Air Patrol. We have national programs called National Cadet Special Activities. And there's things like there's a leadership school for officers down in Alabama they can go to called Cadet Officer School. There's flight academies they can go to. There's just so many different national activities they can go to after going to their encampment. And as well as they can actually, this encampment is part of the requirement for getting what's called the Mitchell Award, which is a promotion to second lieutenant. Okay. So we actually have some cadets here who are here just to get their Mitchell, to get their requirement there. So.
Okay, and the Mitchell Award, can you explain a little bit about that?
It's named after Billy Mitchell, who is one of our aviation pioneers, and fought for getting us an independent Air Force. And it's basically halfway in our cadet program. So they go through airmen, and they go all the way up through like chief master sergeant, and then they hit Mitchell, and then they become an officer. So they'll be a second lieutenant, and then they'll open the pathway to be up. So like where I am, lieutenant colonel, or our highest promotion is colonel. So it just marks halfway in their progression as a cadet.
Okay, fantastic. And so we're almost at the end of the week. How are you guys going to wrap up the end of the week for them?
Basically, we're just going to make sure that they all got the training they need. Right now, we're looking at the schedule to make sure they got all the requirements for the curriculum in, making sure that everyone gets flights. Just kind of make sure things are completed, make sure that our cadets are up to par as far as inspections and teamwork goes, and working on any issues that need to be solved. And it's kind of right now we're hitting the point where everyone's finally they've come together, built up as a team, and it's almost a celebratory stage where we can really say, yeah, you've done it, you've made it through, and you're a team now. As each individual flight develops that, and so we're just kind of making sure that they understand everything that they've learned, and just kind of going over okay, this is what you've learned this week, this is what you can take back in the future, and this is what we're proud of you for, and just let them know.
Okay, and so the curriculum that you use this year, is this the same curriculum that will be used next year as well?
Yes. Our national headquarters, basically, because these encampments go on all over the country, and this just happens to be Michigan Wings. So there's a national curriculum that goes out, and we actually just got a new one this year, I believe in December 2012. So this is a new one, but it will be here for a few years, and it'll be the one that we follow for the next couple encampments.
Okay, so these cadets, the basic cadets right now, would not return and do this encampment over again, they would just progress?
Right, so after this basic encampment, here at Michigan Wings Encampment, there are more opportunities. They can come back on staff to be like maybe flight staff or squadron staff to train basics. They can come back on air ops, which are the guys out here who are, making sure the glider's taken care of, making sure the planes are taken care of. Running the flight line operations. They can come back public affairs staff or any sort of support staff for that. We have some leadership schools that we have here also in Michigan, and a non-commissioned officer school for like the sergeants and higher airmen that come back. And then we also have a cadet leadership school that actually I went to in 2009. And that's a really, really good way to train officers in executive positions. How to lead meetings, how to handle higher staff, things like that. So we have plenty of opportunities here. Oh, and a model rocketry encampment as well. Okay. We're very proud of that one.
Okay, and what is that one?
They basically go through, we have an award called their Model Rocketry Badge. And basically they go through the entire curriculum for that, and at the end of the week they'll get their Model Rocketry Badge that they can then wear in the uniform. And it's just building rockets and learning about aerospace all week.
Which sounds like an amazing time. Okay, so as a cadet commander, what has been your greatest joy throughout this week?
My greatest joy is seeing my staff develop and seeing the basic cadets come together. Because of course, I've been through it. This is my 6th encampment here. I'm not here for me. I'm here for my students and for my cadets. And it's just great to see them develop, see my staff grow as leaders, because now I'm looking at a flight sergeant and I can say, oh, next year you're going to be a great squadron commander. And then seeing the basic cadets, seeing like, oh, they're going to excel in cadet leadership school next year, or they're going to be an awesome flight sergeant next year, and just seeing them all come together.
So this year, have you seen a lot of growth through the basic cadets?
Oh, absolutely. Actually, earlier today, one of our medic staff came up to me and said, ma'am, I've never seen so many basics smile at me at one time. They're all having a great time, and that's what I'm here for, to make sure that these younger cadets have an enjoyable week and get their use out of it.
Oh, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
All right, thank you, ma'am. It was a pleasure.
After the break, we'll talk to a basic cadet, and he will tell us about his experiences. Welcome back, everyone, to Insights. Now joining me is Mark Wolf, who is a basic cadet here at the cadet program. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so I know you told me that you've been in the program for about 2 years now, correct? Mm-hmm. What made you join the program?
I really liked the military, and I was actually talking to my dad about like joining like junior RTC for Army, but there was no place around my house, and he's like, "Oh, Civil Air Patrol." So I'm like, "Oh, that sounds cool." And so I looked up online, and then I noticed there's a squad in my hometown, so I was like, "Oh, let's go there." And so then I got into that, and I really enjoyed it.
Great. And what are some of the fundamental values that you've learned as a basic cadet?
We actually have 4 core values as cadets: integrity, respect, excellence in all we do, and volunteer service. And so through all the cadet programs I go through, there's a lot of volunteer service I go to. Like there's community activities. It's actually teaching me to be a better person, integrity. So I'm always on my A game, not doing anything bad or anything.
And through this week, it's been a week that you've been here. We're coming at the final stages. What have you learned throughout the week?
I've learned a lot. I learned a lot about the planes. I haven't been in a plane in a long time, and it really got me refreshed. And I actually got to go on my first glider flight today, not today, but earlier in the week, and got to learn about more instruments in there other than in here. I'm a senior grade NCO, so this is for basic airmen's, but it actually boosted my leadership, so I can actually lead the younger cadets, and actually got me back as a part of a team.
Okay, great. And I know you just mentioned flying the planes. Can you tell me a little bit about this one that we're in right now?
This is a Cessna 182, a G1000, a Garmin 1000. It's just the glass cockpit. This is like the new one, so the Air Force equips us with these ones. So here you have like a GPS, and it shows like the weather and where you're at in the track. You can use different dials to set in courses. And here it's just kind of a digital display of these. In case like these die out, you'll always have the manual ones. And then we have 2, 6, and then altitude, and your airspeed. It just shows you your level with the horizon. This is a pretty reliable plane that the CAP uses for search and rescue because it's a high wing, and so in CAP our main job is to fly low and slow, and these planes, Cessna 182, are really good for that because you can look out the window, and they're really light planes, so you can go really slow and really low to find a missing person or aircraft.
Right, and throughout the week, one of the things that you guys have been learning is about flight, correct? And so what have you kind of learned this week?
I learned a lot about the 4 different effects during flight, like there's lift, gravity, or weight, drag, and pull, how they react with the plane. And I actually got to do a couple maneuvers in this plane, which I haven't been before. And so, yeah, it was pretty fun.
So being a part of the cadet program, what do you hope to gain from this in the future? Do you plan on going into the military?
Yeah, I actually do. I plan to go in the Army, but I'm not sure what I might do. But for here is just a good start. I might do search and rescue in the Coast Guard. I really like the ES aspect of it, and I'm not much of a aerospace person, more of a search and rescue person.
Okay, and so what have you learned about search and rescue techniques?
Here is not necessarily a search and rescue academy, but in 2011 I went to a search and rescue academy in Michigan, and then these past 2 years I was actually on staff for that. And in CAP we have 3 different levels of ground team members, which are the people that actually go out on ground teams. And then we have the aircraft aspects of it with the air crew. We have like observers, aerial photographers, and pilots. And so ground teams and air crews, they correspond with each other to find missing people.
Okay. And so at the end of the week, we're almost at the end of the week. What do you hope to take away from this?
I hope to take a better understanding of what younger cadets are going through, because I'm an older cadet, and I just gives me a better understanding of how I can take all this learning, take it back to my home squadron, and teach these cadets these things I learned here to have them become better cadets, and hopefully they'll come here.
And what tools have you gained throughout your 2 years of being in this program that you don't think you might have gained elsewhere?
Discipline, self-disciplined, more respect. I respect a lot of people. I respect more than I used to. I'm more clean. I actually make my bed like we do here at home. A lot of self-discipline and integrity. And for me, being at a young age, when older people see me, when I give them respect, it really puts a positive outlook on my generation.
Okay. And for kids who are maybe thinking about going into the cadet program, what advice would you give them?
If you want to do it, go for it. There might be tough times, but there's just those little tough times, but in the future, it's all worth it.
Alrighty, thank you. Well, that'll wrap up this edition of Insights. You can catch us back here next Sunday.
Insights into Northeast Michigan is produced by WBKB News. If you have any comments, suggestions, or topics you would like to see on a future show, please email WBKB News. This has been a production of Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation. All rights reserved.